What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel where I talk and do everything pinball. So if that sounds interesting to you, then hit that subscribe button down below. Well, it's done. The TWIPYs are officially done with, over, and all the pressure and stress and anxiety, whatever you want to call it, is now gone. But I felt as if I really needed to do a post-TWIPY show video to basically encompass anything that might have been brought up or questioned, people are talking about, or just to give you guys feedback on how my whole experience was during and after this show. So I have got me a list of questions right here that I will answer, and basically what I think I need to bring up or talk about. And I'm going to start it out by saying thank you for all of the support. Amongst all of the feedback and comments that we have gotten, we have received emails from people that basically state that they really enjoyed the show this year, that this is their first show to watch, and how it was very, pleasing to watch, and how the numbers go on and on about all the good things that we have heard from people towards me and Emoto and Jeff on how well this show was crafted and put together. The comments go on and on, but we greatly appreciate all the positive feedback. Now, my next topic is titled Funds in this hobby. Now, I titled it Funds in this hobby because it seems that there are those of you out there that believe me, as well as other people in this hobby, whether it be podcasts or other video content creators, just make a whole bunch of money by doing this. And the answer to that question is no. No, we do not. That is completely not true. I was even just getting a machine recently, and I was questioned about the income based, with YouTube. And I was like, no, I do not make a lot of money doing this. I mean, I think typically I might, especially with gas prices being so low, I might be able to fill up my tank of gas kind of thing with what goes on with YouTube income. That's how it is, because, for one thing, I'm not that big of a content creator, and two, it's a very niche hobby and subject matter to even draw in the amount of crowds of people to be able to make a surplus amount of money. But mainly, even though I don't make money and never was making money whenever I first started this, it's not about the money for me. It's just like I've stated many times before. These are things that I think as well as do anyways. I don't go out of my way to swap out play fields or fix up machines and everything. I mean, these are things that I do this anyways. But I do go a little bit out of my way to record these things and put up the show so you have something to watch or something to do while you're sitting on the toilet, whatever. So there is amount of that effort. But it's not me creating this comment or creating this, content rather, and just sitting back waiting for a paycheck. No, that is not why I do what I do. I think that would turn this into something that is not a passion for me. It would turn it into a job. And I don't want that. I bring out content when I can. That's all there is to it. There are things that I put way ahead of whether or not a video gets put out on a particular day or time. That's just what it is. So when it comes to even the getaway finale, that is on the cutting table, but I did not want to rush that out. It's going to come out maybe this week. I say maybe because who knows what might happen, but it is in the works. And another side note when talking about the funds is that during the TWIPY Awards, especially during the advertising portion that we had at the beginning of the show, there were a number of you that contributed and donated money to essentially me, because it is my channel. So that's where it initially goes to, is me. And it was one of those things that, on a side chat between me, Emoto, and Jeff was like, what's going on? And it was one of those where I haven't requested, I haven't asked for anybody's money. This is on everyone's own accord. And I was like, I don't know how far this is going to go or what's going to happen, but whatever we get, we still haven't come to a final decision on that, but essentially whatever we get, it's not going in my pocket. It's going to be distributed to probably me, Emoto, and Jeff. I believe that's what it's going to be. Because like I said, I don't depend on YouTube for income, so I really don't even know what cut portion of that's going to be going towards me. So that is yet to be seen. But just so we're clear on that, the money that was donated is not going solely towards me. It's going to be going to the TWIPY people that were mostly involved in doing all this. On a side note with that, I have a list of people that donated money that I want to give you guys a call out, because you didn't have to do this. Like I said, we didn't request it. You guys did this on your own accord. Some did a couple of bucks, some did $1, some of them, and particularly like Todd Tucky, donated $150. I was like, what? But I want to give each of you a call out here. So Travis Mosman, Joel Reeves, Karen Harper, Chris Ward, Frank Mack to go. And like, you know, a couple of these people did multiple times, a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there, $20 here, whatever. I'm not going to pinpoint who gave what. I did Todd Tucky because we'll get to that subject later. But Kevin Sanborn, Jared Guinness, some of these comments, I'll read them out loud too. To the TWIPY team, Jeff, Emoto, and Cary, thank you for all you do, and you are appreciated. Tony V, I appreciate what you do and pointing me towards Texas Pinball Festival's GoFundMe page. Joseph Fox, he contributed, I want to say $100. Yeah, so thank you, Joseph Fox, for that. Paul Molinari, I think that's how you say your last name. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. For all the hard work put into the TWIPY Awards, let's all celebrate the hobby. Carl Rodney Comegis? I'm sorry, I probably just brutalized your name. Timothy Roth over there at TNT donated $20 as well. Kerry Hardy, a great guy. What's it say? What does that say? Oh, it was great meeting him in Chicago and Expo, and love what he's doing. All right, so thank you, Timothy, for that. Tommy McNichols, again, Frank to go, Joel Reeves, and Rob's Memory Lane. I'm stoked for the Swords of Fury hardtop video. Yeah, so these, I believe I've got everybody's name. I don't think I missed anybody. But yeah, so a special thank you to all those that decided to donate anywhere between the, like I said, $1 all the way up to Todd Tucky's magnificent $150. And so I just wanted to make sure that you got called out in case I did not see it in chat or mention it in chat, because there was a lot going on that night on my end. So once again, thank you to you guys. So now we're going to move on to the next topic, which I have here, which was opinions on the show. Now, everyone has the right to their opinions on how they felt the show went, or whether it be good or bad. Like I said, going through Pinside, you're going to get all sorts of characters in there. But like surprisingly enough, there's only a couple of people that I want to call haters, but I don't even want to call it that. But because when it comes to, like, you know, opinions, especially when they're not constructive criticism, where it's just, you know, I don't like this person, or just where a comment that does nothing, you know, I look at it as a moo point.
A moo point?
Yeah, it's like a cow's opinion. You know, it just doesn't matter. It's moo.
But we had the good comments, you know, which gave us some good feedback, you know, about how they enjoyed the show or whatever. So that was also nice to hear as well. As some of you that watch this show that are in the hobby, probably content creators yourself, or for those that don't even know, you need to understand that the more popular that you become, the more broader of a spotlight that is on you, the more hate will come your way. And this is, like, you know, greatly seen when it comes to people like Zach Minnie and Kaneda, because they're, like, you know, some of the top two people that everyone typically knows that is in this hobby for one good reason or a bad reason or whatever. Those are some people that tend to get a lot of hate thrown their way for a various number of reasons. So it's only natural. I'm not saying that I'm up there with them, but it's only natural that, you know, when you have something like the TWIPY Awards where everyone's seeing you, that you're going to be getting some negative feedback. So one of the questions I have here is how I came to be a host. Now, this was something that I didn't reach out for. I mean, didn't even cross my mind until I was contacted. And so once the word was placed out on Pinside or Facebook or whatever, that Zach and Greg would be stepping down from hosting the TWIPYs, it was a very, what the hell happened? What's going on here kind of thing. And even though I am with Straight Down the Middle team, there's a lot that I really don't know about that goes on, guys. I don't get the 411 on everything. So even when it came to Greg stepping back from pinball in general and stuff, it's not like he gives me, hey, just so you know, this is what's going on. I mean, I question these decisions and actions just as much as you guys do. But even if they were to inform me on these things, it's not like me to just broadcast it out either. So take that with a grain of salt, whether or not, you believe me or not. But the fact remains is that I really did not know what was going on. And I still do not know to this day why they stepped back from doing it. I do not know. But even then, even if they would have stayed on, they still would have had to do something of the nature as me and Emoto chose to do, where it would had to have been online, because it couldn't have been a TPF. So back to the reasoning, I guess, or how I became to be a host, was that I got a phone call one day and was questioned if I would be interested. And immediately it was one of those things where I was like, I don't know, because I knew, and it's very prominent with some comments, that no matter who hosts the TWIPYs, they will immediately be paralleled and compared to Zach and Greg. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to live up to or be anywhere near them. So it was one of those things where I was like, man, if I choose to do this, it's going to be the immediate, oh, you're no Zach and Greg. Well, I know I'm no Zach and Greg, because they are who they are and I am who I am. I mean, you can't be liked by everybody, but whenever you have a combo like them, it's definitely something that's going to be a little difficult to top. So I was asked if I would even be interested, and I was hesitant, and I was like, make some phone calls, talk to who you have to talk to. I will do whatever I can to help. So it wasn't like I immediately agreed to doing it. It was one of those where, okay, you can keep me on the list, but ask around, talk to other people, that's fine. But I will step up to the role if you really need me to. So a few days went by and I was contacted again, and it was officially requested to host the TWIPYs with Emoto Arcade or Emoto Harney. And I was like, okay. And the other side note in my head was that I knew of Emoto, but I didn't really know her. We haven't had conversations back and forth to get to know each other on a personal level. It's like I've met her at TPFs before in a passing, one of those quick, oh, hey, what's going on, Emoto? Hey, kind of thing. And then that's all it is. And then at Expo, same ordeal. Hey, Emoto. Hey, Cary. We knew of each other, but we didn't know each other. And that was one of the things that was a worrisome on my side, and as well as Emoto. We found out later on, we both had the concern of whether or not we were going to be able to click and be able to feed off of each other and work so well. And that is another point that I got to bring up to some of you people that go, oh, you're no Zach and Greg. No shit. Because you've got two guys that are friends that give each other crap, and they fit so well because they're friends for years. They know each other so well, so they're able to just throw stuff at each other, and each of them can take it and keep going with it. Whereas you have a couple like me and Emoto who are just now learning each other and getting to know one another. And so that was one of the things, even before I accepted the role, I requested that me and Emoto have some one-on-one time so we can start learning each other and get the feel of how we are and stuff. So we had a long phone conversation, kind of going back and forth about how we felt about things and stuff like that. And so the friendship began to grow. And once I saw that, I could see it happening. It wasn't like, we're not going to click, we're going to clash too much, we don't agree on whatever, then I would have turned it down or whatever. But it seemed, I'm like, all right, I think this can work. So I accepted the role to be a host for the TWIPYs. My next question here is how did it feel being a host? The answer to that question is nervous, obviously, because in the beginning it's going to be in front of a live audience at Texas Pinball Festival, as well as being broadcast over Twitch to potentially thousands of people and stuff like that. And I was kind of curious of how the public would even respond in general just to people hosting that aren't Zach and Greg. Because like I've stated, we're no Zach and Greg. And it's like, yeah, we know. So it's a matter of how the public reacts to these individuals. Because like I said, you can't be liked by everybody. And I know I've got my haters. I've got thumbs down. I get thumbs down on videos mere seconds after it goes public. So I know I've got haters. You can't thumbs down a video and the video is like 10 minutes long and it's only been public for like a minute. There's somebody out there that definitely doesn't like me enough to go, I'm going to click on this video that he just posted and thumbs down it and then go about my business. So I know you're out there, but it's whatever. So I knew that I have haters and I just didn't know what the feedback was going to be. So it was one of those, all right, we can't announce this or say anything yet until a particular time for whatever reason. I forgot what it is now, but we waited to announce who was going to be hosting and I put a video together, a little teaser, stuff like that. Actually, no, Emoto did that. I did some of the audio. It doesn't matter, but got it all announced, went on podcasts. We've been on a couple of podcasts, me and Emoto. And so it was definitely a nervous thing. But I was looking forward to it because I was like, it's going to be an interesting show. I'm going to get to meet all these people and see all these people again because at that time we were expecting it to be live at TPF. So I was really excited, but a little bit nervous. And then we get the news that TPF is canceled. So it's a matter of how are we going to be able to continue doing the TWIPYs? How is this going to be done? We need to think of another way to go about doing this. And that's when we started figuring out how. How can we do this? Do we do it live via Twitch? How's this going to work out? And we went back and forth for a good while, me, Jeff, and Emoto, about how we were going to do this. And it was, I want to say, and I'm not trying to take kind of credit for anything here or blame for that matter, but I want to say it was me that said I think our safest method of doing this is via YouTube Premiere. Now, the reasoning behind why I chose to do it the way we did, guys, is because it was to give you guys the highest, basically, potential of a show being non-interrupted by a number of possible issues. And I mean, these are things that I think about all the time when it comes to in my day-to-day job and everything, as I have to think about all the possible things that could go wrong and potentially avoid those. And so whenever I was thinking about how we could do this, it was like, okay, we need to do a pre-recording and upload it to YouTube. That's just one less thing that we have to worry about. Is if we were doing it live, because there was even a discussion about her driving all the way to my house. I mean, one, that's like from where she's at, it's like a 12-hour drive plus. To come over here to film for, 2 hours maybe? Trust me, it went on a lot longer than that. But to film for a day and then her to drive all the way back, I was like, no, let's figure out another way. And we both, me and her, are video content creators, so we are very savvy when it comes to the green screening and all that stuff and junk. So we chose to do the method and the way we did it for practical and safety reasons, because at this time we were basically secluded and quarantined to our houses because of the whole COVID-19 thing. So traveling and all that stuff and junk, we had so many things going against us on this, guys. So to have the show come out the way it did and the amount of time that we had is amazing. I mean, you just don't know, guys, the ones that are just the haters out there, you don't understand, evidently, how much time and effort was put into this to get it to look the way it did. And I know there are plenty of you out there that do, and you even mention it in your comments about how much time you know it had to have taken to do this. And even Kaneda, Chris, will let you know what his 3-minute video that he did for the TWIPYs, it takes a lot of time just to do what he did. So you got to account for that. Emoto, like, praise be, is the reason why that this show looked as good as it did and flowed the way it did, because she did essentially, I want to say 95% of all the editing for this show, guys. She took all the files, we uploaded them to the network server for her to access, and took all of them, did all the editing, put all the segments together, audio, video, all that. My brother did all the 3D renderings of the trophies. I mean, because he had to, Jeff shipped me the trophies because I was going to bring them to TPF. So I had the trophies here, and I had another method I was wanting to do with the trophy segments, but it just did not look as good as I know it could have been. So I gave them to my brother, and he's able to do complete 3D renderings of the trophies and the whole scenarios and music and everything. I put those in there in the trophies and the velvets. I can go on and on about what all we did intricacy-wise. But the fact of the matter is that I want to say she clocked in at least 100 hours in editing on this. And the only reason that she was able to do this in the frame that she had is because Marco's not doing anything, so she's not doing her day-to-day typical job due to COVID-19. So this gave her the ability to work on this in that time frame. I didn't have that. I still had my job because evidently I'm essential. So I still have my job to go to and do that. So there's no way, if all the editing was put on me, one, I'm pretty sure would not have looked as good. And two, you wouldn't have seen the TWIPYs until April, at least, with the timing that I have going on in my life. That's just not how no. It would not have been fun. Not have been fun. So I did not envy her 1 minute while she did all this hard effort and work. And I definitely want to make sure that people understand that I am not taking credit for any of this. For those of you that do know me, you should know that I am a very humble person. And whenever I do sound like I have an ego thing going on, it is merely for entertainment purposes only, because we could have done it live. We could have, but there would have been so many possible interruptions, whether it be a storm could have happened that night and knocked out my power, something could have happened to me from work and I got in a car. I mean, I can go on and on about the possible cons that could have taken place before, during the show, that would have given thousands of people that would have been watching a very bad experience, to where it was like, oh great, we built this all up for an evening for Cary's internet to go down, or for Emoto's internet to go down, or whatever. So the method that we did was the best way for the conditions that we were in. That is the best method that we could have done. And they chose my channel because at the time, and I mean still at this time, had the most subscribers. So it was able to hit a bunch of people that method as well. And thanks to those of you that shared the link to get them out to everybody, that was a great help also. This show literally didn't get completely done and uploaded mere a few hours before it went live on YouTube. I kid you not. I was at work and Emoto uploaded it to the drive so I could download it and upload it to my YouTube channel a mere 3 hours before the show aired. Luckily, I got a decent upload speed and download speed, so it was able to work in comparison to what she had going on. And that's why the official link didn't come out until it did, because when that link went live, that is essentially when it finally got uploaded to YouTube and was ready to go. And so once we finally got it uploaded to YouTube and ready to go, it was a big relief off our chest, because we knew that from that minute forward, all we had to do was just sit back and enjoy the show with the rest of you out there. So for those of you out there that want to sit there and nitpick and about how the show could have been like this, or it could have flowed this way, or it felt long, it's one of those things where I definitely want to hold back the FU comment towards you, because you just don't know, evidently. You have no clue on the amount of effort that was put into it to get it to be where it was at. So with especially under the conditions that we were in. I would love to see some of you out there attempt to do better with the time frame and the conditions that we were in. So let me just throw that at you. So there is a little bit of animosity towards me right there, towards you keyboard commandos. Let's go on to the next thing, and that is basically talking about the categories and the results. We can go on, I mean, because all the podcasts are doing this and everything too. I'm not going to go down every single one of them. But this is the thing is that me and Emoto originally did not want to know the results because we were going to do it live and we wanted to be just as surprised as the rest of you out there. But due to these circumstances, we essentially had to know who the winners of these categories were going to be. So that sucked. But it is what it is. So just going down the list here, we could start with Best Music of Sound Effects went to Black Knight. Have no argument with that. I agree with it. That was great music. Favorite homebrew pinball machine. Let's see here. I really Jack Danger won that one with his Dead Flip game. I have not played any of these games, sadly enough, but I did see Castlevania at Expo, and I loved that theme. And I love how Justin put all the sounds into that game from the NES. It was amazing. I loved it. Spaceballs, I believe that was at Expo too. I'm sorry, Wolf Marsh. I just didn't get a chance to really get a good look at it. I'm not even sure if I even recorded it through my Expo experience. So it would be a great theme. I just didn't have it even in my head. As far as Dead Flip winning it, I mean, his game looks like it's going to be fun to play. I'm hoping that I do get a chance to flip because it looks pretty damn original, and so that was pretty cool. Best toys and gimmicks went to Jurassic Park. Now, I disagree with this, and you know, I'll give my reasoning behind why I voted for Black Knight. Now, the reasoning behind Black Knight and why, I mean, I had a debate about this one myself. I'm like, should I give it to Jurassic Park for the T-Rex? And then you have the roundabout mech in the middle. And I went back and forth for a long time. But in a nutshell, I chose the Black Knight because of the knight with the flail and the shield and how it's in every version of that game and does the same thing for every version. And it's integral to the gameplay throughout the game. The shield does what it does. The flail does what it does through the entire game. Whereas some of the other options on the other games are only every once in a while. So I was looking for consistently being awesome. So me personally, I chose the Black Knight on that one. Even though overall the game is okay, when it comes to toys and gimmicks, I went for the Black Knight. Let's see, favorite location. I mean, I've never been to any of those, so my vote on there, I didn't do that. Favorite pinball publication. I mean, I don't know either of those very well either. I haven't been able to really give a broad opinion on either of those because I haven't really looked into either of them. Let's see here. Best theme, Willy Wonka. Okay. I agree. That's a damn good theme to have under your belt. There's no argument on that. Favorite competitive pinball player, Keith Elwin. That's definitely an award that's basically most popular. That's a lot of this is popularity because it's people's choice. So favorite pinball convention, I obviously chose TPF on that. Very biased. Best theme integration, Jurassic Park. Okay. Favorite pinball website, Pinside. Yeah. Best animations and display. Now this one caught me very much by surprise because this is another one where I went towards the Black Knight on. Nothing against, the other top two, Willy Wonka and Jurassic Park, but I mean, even when Emoto gave me the test footage of how she was doing the montages of all the games for display, I was like, how does Willy Wonka win this one? I mean, just the test footage alone, how all of that was completely original in the way it was put into the game, it looks great. Whereas you have other assets to build off from, like Jurassic Park and Willy Wonka. You're building off of other assets, whereas Black Knight is an original theme. It's licensed, but it's an original theme. Everything in there was completely original. So and it just looked so much awesome. I mean, but that's me, but that's what I went towards on Best Animations in Display. Rookie of the Year, no problems with Tim Sexton winning on that one. That's fine. Let's see here. Favorite pinball tournament. I don't really know all that stuff. I don't really go into tournaments or anything. So, best call-outs, Elvira. It was right up there with Black Knight. I mean, I get that Elvira or Cassandra Peterson actually did the call-outs and everything herself. I just wish there would have been much more of the, tongue-in-cheek comments. I love those. So I think that there should have been more of those, but otherwise, okay, it's cool that she actually did the call-outs and everything for it. And Black Knight, Steve Ritchie did a great job on that one, so there it is for that. So I don't disagree with best call-outs. I agree that those definitely should be the top two. Favorite pinball YouTube channel. Now this one is where we get into discussion about, because drama, man, it's starting to pour down rain. So this one, a lot of people were surprised on. And here's the thing, guys, is that, like I've stated, this is people's choice. Everyone voted the way they did, and the winner is due to everyone's votes. I can understand the major, anger being behind things if there was actually a committee, like 10 people or whatever, that voted for these things. And then you could blame the committee for voting the way they did. Whereas this is everyone that voted, guys. So you can't just be mad at a single person. This is how people voted. This is what it is. So, and it's upsetting. Nothing against Pop-Up Pinball, okay? Nothing against you, Bo and Karens and stuff like that. I mean, you do great showing people how to play the games. But I think I'm with a lot of people on here. Even though I'm part of Straight Down the Middle of Pinball Show, I really felt like towards TNT Amusements should get this. I mean, Todd and the crew put out a lot of videos, and everyone knows who he is, and everyone goes to these videos, even particularly me. He really got me into the hobby, guys. I mean, whenever I wanted to start learning about certain machines and do's and don'ts and, how games look and play, or how they can potentially look with the restorations that they do, I go to TNT and type in the game that I'm looking for, and chances are he's got a couple of videos on that particular game. That was just the way I looked at it. And so whenever I got the results in of who won, I was very thrown back by that it wasn't TNT. And I know SDTM won last year, and that was all good. And like I said, I'm part of them, but I still felt that Todd should have got it. Nail me to the cross, Zach and Greg, but I mean, TNT, they do a lot for this hobby, a lot. And so it was a little sad to see that that he didn't win, but I'm glad that he was in good spirits when he did his, because he submitted 2 videos, one for winning and one for losing. And so that turned out really good. He took it well, but I think things are going to be different next year. I got a feeling about this. We'll see. But Todd, hang in there, guy, man. You're one of my favorites. You got me started. The wife was laughing at me and everything because I was geeking out so much when I finally met you at Expo. So you guys do great. Keep doing what you do. Let's talk about favorite pinball mod. I really don't know that category very well, but so I'm just gonna move on to that one because I think it was one of those where I was like, best light show went to Willy Wonka. Okay. No big surprise there. Favorite pinball streamer, Dead Flip is the most popular on that one, so it's kind of a given that he's going to be winning that. He's been doing it for a long time, so it's kind of a given. Favorite pinball league, I was pretty stoked that Bells and Chimes won that one. That was good to see that Lauren Gray and the rest of the team took home an award. Again, probably a little biased due to the fact that they're based in Texas. But moving on to best rules, Jurassic Park, yeah, by a landslide. Without a doubt, that I love the hell out of Jurassic Park because I like the way it plays, and the rules obviously make the game. Favorite pinball topper? This was there should have been no contest, and I don't see any kind of like percentages on this, which is I didn't even notice that till now. I'm not sure if he edited this or what. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so when it came to the topper, I was immediately like, oh, it's Sword of Rage. Has to be. Even though Medieval Madness Remake topper was a very good-looking topper. Without a doubt. It looks great. The molding and everything on it is amazing. But whenever Black Knight's Sword of Rage topper came out and it was moving the way it was and you had his face glowing with Steve Ritchie's voice as the Black Knight on there, that set a new standard for toppers, guys. That's the new level of greatness for toppers. So now, sadly enough, either Stern or other manufacturers are going to have to, if you want to wow at least me, then you're going to have to get up there with the Black Knight topper or better. But that was no question on best topper. That was a great one. Favorite pinball podcast. Now, this is another award that everyone looks forward to, and it was one of those where it was no surprise who was going to win it. But I think what did surprise people is my reaction to it. Really? Okay, so this just proves my point, guys, that this is obviously people's choice. We didn't pick this. All of you out there picked this guy. He doesn't even own a pinball machine. Not a single one. Nothing. Nothing in his game room at all. Okay? Nothing. This is it. And then he calls everybody else, morons for buying machines before they play them. And what's he do? He buys a Rick and Morty, guys. Number 50 at that. Buys it. Hadn't played it before. Buys it. But then he wants to call other people dumbasses. Just a little bit hypocritical there, guy. Just a little bit. And then you wonder why Stern doesn't come on your show? You wonder why? Gee, let me just make a 3-minute video explaining why Stern won't come on my show. And you can obviously tell that he's got nothing else better to do. He's obviously in quarantine because he's got a 3-minute long video of all of that. I don't even want to explain what all of that was, but it's all in there. He obviously put some time and effort. I digress. It's whatever.
So...
Now, the reason why I did the rant the way I did was because I felt that it was going to be funny. And the thing is, in hindsight, I should have said that, hey, this is a joke, or did a wink to the camera, or something like that. But I didn't. And so a lot of people thought that I was just hating on Kaneda, hating on Chris, and that it's very unprofessional of me to do it as a host, and the list goes on. And it's one of those where I'm like, it was a joke, guys, what the hell? So it's like last year was Chris stomping on a trophy. And so now, evidently this year, it's going to be me harping on Kaneda. But the fact of the matter remains is that me and Kaneda are buddies. We chit-chat back and forth a lot. So it was one of those things where I was just trying to get a couple of little punches in the ribs on because, like I said, if you're at the top, then you're going to get picked on. So it's expected. And a lot of hate went towards him. I don't want to say a lot of hate, but there was a lot of lashback towards Kaneda's 3-minute long video that he put together, his acceptance speech. And the thing is, whenever his video got submitted and me, Moto, and Jeff were watching it, I mean, we were all laughing. I was almost in tears laughing. And that's when we began the discussion of they were like, hey, we're probably going to need to cut this down. We're going to need to edit this out and stuff like that. And I was like, veto. I was like, no. I was like, no, we can't do that. I was like, for a couple of reasons, one, anybody that wins their award and has their acceptance speech, this is their time to shine. Let them have it. This is something that I think that, any person that wins an award, that's their moment to shine. That is their moment in the sun. Let them have it. And even though this Kaneda's video is saying what it and doing what it's doing, it's his moment. Let him have it. We can put a disclaimer if we have to at the beginning of it. We ended up doing a disclaimer through the entire thing, but it was to be expected. If it would have been Chris just getting on there and be like holding a trophy with his dog Bubba, hey, thanks guys, let's do it again next year, whatever, I think he would have let down a lot of people. So he did what he did, and I think for the fans of him and a lot of people that were probably like shaking their heads and laughing on the inside at some of the comments that were made on there, it was Kaneda. That's the only way I could say it. I was like, this video is him. This is what people are going to expect. And so we made the final decision to keep it in its entirety on there. So that was a big thing. So like I said, my rant during that whole ordeal was completely staged. As a matter of fact, I have the raw footage here. I'll put that at the end of this video. So if you want to see the proof that it wasn't like, oh, I can't believe he won or whatever, I've got the raw green screen footage that I'll put at the end of the video. And you can see that it even took me a couple of takes because I broke character at one point and started laughing too soon. So we ended up doing it again. But yes, it was not sincere, guys. Okay. Best artwork, obviously the Munsters. Let's see here. Best playfield gameplay and layout, obviously Jurassic Park. And of course, Game of the Year, obviously Jurassic Park. I knew that was going to win Game of the Year by the stream when they were streaming that game because I was excited to play it. And then when I finally played it at Expo, I was like, this thing's going to win. Unless their next title is going to be something just completely even better than this, which I kind of doubted it was going to be. And surprised I was not, is that, yeah, nothing came out better than Jurassic Park. So Jurassic Park is the new tier that you had to go past in order to wow me on gameplay. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But that was all the categories and my thoughts and opinions on that. And I want to say, what's the next topic at hand? Do I have any regrets? Let's see here. I guess the only regret is that I did not specify that my rant was in fact a joke. So that would have smoothed things over immediately if I would have specified, hey, just messing around, Chris, whatever, all that stuff and junk. But other than that, I don't think I have any regrets. Would I host again? I'm willing to. I mean, it's one of those things where we've got plenty of months to go. I mean, it depends on how things get done next year. For all I know, they may put up a voting process on the public on who you believe should vote for next year. I think that, that things would have been better if it were live. Then me and Emoto would have been in the same room. We wouldn't have had the lag time in between our voices that we had to counter for and that she definitely had to counter for in the editing process. We would have had a live audience to feed off of, but we had nothing. We were going completely just in a vacant room, staring at a camera and doing what we could. So I'm thinking that definitely if we could do it on a live audience, then I'm pretty sure, guys, that we would have meshed better if there was any kind of issue with you guys feeling that we were no Zach and Greg. And I get the reasoning behind why you say that. But me and Emoto are really good friends now. I believe we are. I love you, girl. So what we're going to be doing is essentially continuing to be friends. And I'm thinking that, if we do host next year, I'm thinking that we'll have a even much better of a clicking force and things will improve. But like I said, that's still a year away. And anything can happen. I'm not against hosting again. Whether I host or not, I'm still going to attend and see who all the victors are going to be. Goodness gracious, it is like pouring down. I might lose power on this, and that would suck, guys. So I'm going to wrap up this video right here and now. That is, I want to say anything that I wanted to mention or bring up that had to do with the TWIPYs. By all means, if you have any other questions, concerns, comments, or whatever, then feel free to leave them down there in the comments section, or you can email me at hardypinball@gmail.com. If you like what you've seen here, give me the thumbs up, and if you haven't already, do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below. That way you can be notified of whenever I upload something for your viewing pleasure. Until next time, guys, peace out. Video on. So, because you're just gonna come in shocked, and I'm just gonna be like, "Are you serious?" I mean, okay. First of all, the guy doesn't even have a pinball machine. He doesn't own a pinball machine. Doesn't own one. Doesn't have a single pinball machine, and he has the right to complain that Stern won't go on his show. Gee, I wonder why, Chris. I wonder why Stern won't come on your show. Prime example of why, dude. And then you want to call people morons for buying machines that they don't even play first, and here you go buying Rick and Morty number 50. Haven't played it before, have you? No, you haven't. But you know what? It's okay. You can be a hypocrite, but no one else can. I got it. Yeah, but it's whatever.
So, our next category is best artwork. You have presenting that category, Cary? Because I can't remember.
Oh man, do you want to do it again, or because I got? Yeah, because like I totally changed my mood for what it was in. I kind of like broke character right there from what I was in and stuff. So that's fine. We can do it again. I can easily spout that shit off again. All right, we'll just be.
Give me a second.
Okay. Really?
We're good.
Are you ready? All right. Really? Okay, so this just proves my point, guys, that this is obviously people's choice. We didn't pick this. All of you out there picked this guy. He doesn't even own a pinball machine. Not a single one. Nothing. Nothing in his game room at all. Okay? Nothing. This is it. And then he calls everybody else, morons for buying machines before they play him. And what's he do? He buys a Rick and Morty, guys. Number 50 at that. Buys it. Hadn't played it before. Buys it. But then he wants to call other people dumbasses. Just a little bit hypocritical there, guy. Just a little bit. And then you wonder why Stern doesn't come on your show? You wonder why? Gee, let me just make a 3-minute video explaining why Stern won't come on my show. And you can obviously tell that he's got nothing else better to do. He's obviously in quarantine because he's got a 3-minute long video of all of that. I don't even want to explain what all of that was, but it's all in there. He obviously put some time and effort. I digress. It's whatever.
So, our next category is best artwork, and our presenter is Cary, who's our next presenter?
Our next presenter is Damien from Haggis Pinball.
I like it. Man, he can rant.